Bobby's gone off the rails. Bobby's gone off the rails! This Nikki Ash is Nikki Ass. I don't want to see it anymore.
I'm Jet Nick.
And I'm Kenny Arrow. And we're about to tell you some shit you didn't even know you needed to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Do the Damn Dive. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Do the Damn Dive podcast. We are back. It is episode 4. We're going to be reviewing Monday Night Raw, WWE NXT 2.0, and AEW Dynamite. I'm Jet Nick.
And I'm Kenny Arrow. And here's the shit you didn't know you even needed to know.
So, Kenny, a crazy week so far in wrestling. We haven't even gotten through it yet. We still got SmackDown and Rampage to review.
That's right. Wild.
So what happened during the week? We had so far we've had Keith Lee debuting.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen Keith Lee walk down that aisle in AEW. I personally called it.
Yeah, I think there was like some reports saying that he was going to be there like before it happened, which I mean that's going to happen with dirt sheets and stuff. But we also had someone coming through the little forbidden door there. Who was it? Well, we'll get into it. But first, we got to review Monday Night Raw, our favorite show of the week. A little bit of sarcasm there. But so the February 7th, 2022 edition of Monday Night Raw. Now, this week was in Bobby Lashley's hometown in Denver, Colorado. It was broadcasted on Sci-Fi this week because of the USA Network's coverage of the Olympics. And the big tagline for this week's was the first hour of Raw commercial-free. Although, kind of not, because they had some like network promotional ads for Sci-Fi's like Resident Alien show. So
AKA false advertising.
Yeah, but I guess technically no, it was commercial free, but it was kind of a deal that they had to have done to broadcast some Resident Alien clips. I'm probably not going to watch it.
Same here.
But anyways, we kicked off the show with a hot start. Alpha Academy versus RK Bro in the third round of the Academic Challenge. This week's was a quiz bowl. RK Bro needs this win to receive a match for the Raw Tag Team Championships against Alpha Academy. The teams are tied 1-1 after Gable lost in the first round because he misspelled disillusion. Then in the second round, Riddle lost to a scooter race because Otis attacked him near the finish line, so they cheated to get the point. What?
Were they wearing wetsuits?
Yeah, they wasn't that? I think, or at least Gable was. I don't know what was going on.
They got Otis in something. I think they made a tarp into one.
Probably. Hard to say. But some of the subjects in the quiz bowl was biology, geography, Greek mythology, film and literature, like stuff like that. And so both teams start off with a point. There was a little funny moment there. So Riddle selected pop culture as the subject. And I think the question was like Justin Bieber married Haley Baldwin, who is the daughter of which famous actor? Riddle struggled to find the answer. So he's like, yeah, can I call a lifeline to my buddy Justin Bieber? And Kevin Patrick's like, no, there ain't no lifelines here. So he was going to call Justin Bieber. God forbid. God forbid. And that's coming from a couple of Canadians. But
I didn't even know he had his number.
Yeah, I didn't know they were such good friends.
Yeah. You learn the more you know.
I guess the more you know, we learn something new every week. The Academy pick. Well, actually, this answer gets stolen by Chad Gable, I believe. He stole the answer, so I think it's 3.
Yeah, that was what happened.
Or 2-1 or something for Alpha Academy. But anyways, they're up next and they pick film and literature. The question was, which of Shakespeare's plays has been adapted into the most films? Otis goes to answer. He's like, ham. He's can't say it ham, but Gable shoots him up, and he actually answers incorrectly, and he answers Romeo and Juliet. Otis is visibly pissed off by this, and this leads to RK Bro. This leads to RK Bro stealing it for the point, and that actually cost Alpha Academy a 5-2 lead. So they got a few more points in there. But the points are now 3-4 for RK Bro. They need 2 more points to earn a title shot. Orton picked sports, and the question was, which quarterback has the most wins in Denver Broncos history? Orton asked the crowd if it's John freaking Elway, and obviously they cheer because, I mean, they are in Denver.
Yeah, it's Denver, and that's
so Orton basically just used like a big lifeline in there when it was not allowed. And
it's pretty much the Oprah, there's something under your seat card.
Yeah, pretty much. But this leads to Chad Gable crying foul due to, Randy using the crowd to help him get the point. Gable's kind of feeling the pressure now. He tells the crowd and the buzzer, like, stop the buzzer, tell the crowd to shut up. He struggles to land on a subject, but eventually he chooses metric conversions. Now, the question to this was, how many grams are in an ounce? Gable just starts going down all the multiple choice answers, and then he finally picks 12. The buzzer goes off, and Chad Gable just gets he throws himself back into his chair. Riddle goes to take it, but Orton wants to choose the answer. Riddle asks, well, how do you know the answer, Randy? And Orton says, you think you're the one who bakes, bro? What do they mean by that, Kenny?
I'm not sure.
Orton answers 28 grams, which gets RK Bro the win and earns them a tag team title match. I'm assuming at Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia.
And I feel like it's gonna open up a match for Mania. I feel like that they have to continue that story.
That'd be great. I think Chad Gable has done some of his best character work. I always knew Gable had charisma because I see the clips of him in NXT, doing backstage segments with Jason Jordan. He's a talented guy, definitely underrated for what he's. I mean, yes, he is the Raw tag team.
You can tell him and Otis have the chemistry though.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even with Otis, I know at the start I wasn't a fan of the character change, but I mean he's still goofy, but he's just got more of an edge, and I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, he's meathead goofy.
Yeah,
he's still gonna he's puppeted around by Gable, but he's still gonna flatten you.
Exactly. So after being outsmarted, Gable starts throwing a tantrum. He's rolling around on the ring. He's stop the buzzer, but they just keep spamming the buzzer sound effect. And then the Street Profits come out. So while Gable's throwing this tantrum, the Street Profits make their way down. Dawkins and Ford mock Alpha Academy for losing, which leads to Gable challenging them to a match. And then Otis attacks the Profits before the match even starts. So I think this goes to commercial break. We come back. It was a short but all right match. These two teams obviously got great chemistry, so it's going to be hard to get a bad match out of them. During the match, Montez hits a great-looking Superman dive. I think that's kind of a new move he's introduced, isn't it, Tanner?
I believe, yeah.
Sorry, Kenny. I used the shoot name there.
Oh, I'm hurt.
We're gonna bleep that part out. But anyways, Montez hits the Superman dive, but then eventually it's Angelo and Chad Gable in the ring. Chad catches Angelo in an ankle lock. Angelo goes to roll out of it, but Gable rolls him up for the victory. It was a pretty cool way to finish the match. And then after that, we get a Lita hype package. After that, we get MVP and Bobby Lashley in a segment. MVP kind of does a Paul Heyman-esque introduction for the hometown hero. The crowd's red hot for Lashley. That's right. That's right. MVP states that Bobby didn't need anyone's help during the match with Lesnar at the Rumble. He's frustrated with Adam Pearce for making him defend it so soon in an Elimination Chamber match. MVP says that the possibility of Brock winning that match and making a title-for-title match against Reigns at Mania is complete fantasy. MVP hands the mic to Lashley. Lashley says the champ is here. Little shout out to John Cena there. Now, Bobby kind of stumbles a little bit in this promo. It definitely, but listen, promos ain't this man's strong suit anyways.
Mm-hmm. His strong suit is looking strong in a suit.
Exactly.
Literally.
When every time I see him with a microphone, I kind of, squint my eyes a little bit, but
just a quick comment on Lashley's attire. He has to wear shirts that show a little bit of his neck or he just looks like a chocolate peanut sticking out of a suit.
That's an interesting comment there.
Well, I need to see some neck, or you just look like a chocolate covered peanut, man.
Well, we'll message WWE Wardrobe and try to see if we can get that fixed.
His suit attire as soon as 2K22 comes out.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see if we'll see. Well, actually, we'll see, Kenny, if you can draft them first, because we are going to be doing a draft, but we'll get onto that later. However, Lashley, after stumbling a little bit, he states that Brock doesn't even deserve another shot at the WWE title. That's a kind of a fair criticism. And that it's not Bobby that's going to be locked in the chamber with Brock. it's Brock locked in the chamber with Bobby Lashley. So a little bit of a shade thrown there. Lashley says after Elimination Chamber, Brock can go off to SmackDown and challenge Reigns for the Universal title. Bobby will defend his championship in the main event of WrestleMania. Don't hold your hopes on that.
Yeah.
There is no way in hell that Roman Reigns is not main eventing unless he gets injured before, God forbid. But unless he gets injured, there's no way anyone, I mean, night one, not even night one, I could actually see Ronda and Charlotte main eventing night one. I think that's what's going to happen.
That makes sense.
But so we get a little Bliss Therapy recap, which from last week, and we're going to see another segment with her tonight. Oh joy. And then we get a great match, AJ Styles versus the US champ Damien Priest. For the little time they had, I mean, they definitely delivered. I mean, they always do that. I mean, look who's in the ring. I mean, it's Styles and Damien Priest.
Yeah, it was a clean match.
Priest goes for an early win with the reckoning, but Styles gets out of it. We get great back and forth strike exchange between the two, leading to Priest falling on the mat with Styles kind of landing on top of him. So they kind of kick each other, and I like that. That was a cool little moment there. The match comes to a close after Priest sends Styles to the apron. Priest goes to run the ropes, but eats a phenomenal forearm on his way back for the 3 count, and Styles picks up the victory. That was a cool way to end the match for sure.
I believe it launches him into that title picture, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And actually, I didn't notice this, like, because my memory's not great, obviously. But I looked at Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp's tweet that he put out, and he said that Priest has lost 4 of his past matches on Raw. That is kind of sad to see, considering the guy, when he first came up, I mean, he didn't lose. Yeah,
they were giving him a very strong push, considering everybody else was getting so much stop-start action.
Yeah, it's crazy because, and with this new, and can we talk about this gimmick change for a little bit? Because I know we haven't been able to air our thoughts to the people who watch and listen, but not a fan of this new gimmick. I thought he was fine. How he was. It's weird. I mean, they not repackaged him, but they gave him this new gimmick that's actually worse than what he was before.
They tried to do too much. They had to keep their hands off. They can't keep their hands off of anything.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I mean, when he did the Bad Bunny stuff, I mean, to me, he looked like a star. He was already a star. I mean, just the aura of that. I mean, the theme song, the Archer of Infamy. Like, I want that Damien Priest back, because right now this one is just losing every match. He's just a generic big guy with a temper, and that's not necessarily a nuanced gimmick nowadays.
Yeah, there's no depth to that.
Yeah. But getting on with the show, we get a recap of Roman Reigns and Goldberg. I guess Goldberg issuing the challenge on last week's SmackDown. And we also get Ronda choosing Charlotte to go against for the women's title, the SmackDown women's title at WrestleMania. After this, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are backstage. Seth hypes up Owens for his rematch against Theory later tonight. Seth says he's kind of bummed out that Owens isn't there in the chamber with him. Owens says with Rollins' influence and support after he beats Theory, Sonya and Adam will have no choice but to put Owens in the chamber match. Owens and Seth say they both hate Adam Pearce. However, Seth isn't sure that they're going to grant Owens this spot in the chamber because, I mean, yes, he lost his qualifying match. So that wouldn't really make sense. This leads to Owens kind of suspecting that Seth's kind of phoning in his happiness and maybe his partnership. So a little tease of dissension there. But Seth just kind of laughs in his face and says to Kev, I'm many things, but I'm not a lawyer, and walks off. So, yeah, a little dissension there between the best friends.
Yeah, I found that as an odd pair. Like, I'm just not used to it, and I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, it's different that it's not Kevin and Sammy. But I think Kevin and Seth got great chemistry as kind of like a team.
Yeah, it works, but I just don't know where you go long term with that. Like I just don't see a long term future with that.
Yeah, I don't know if this maybe would lead to like a Seth face turn or something. Like if Owens attacks him and maybe Seth builds a little sympathy from the crowd. But I really don't know where this whole thing will go, to be honest. But
Are they gonna try to recreate the magic of putting two stars together like RK Bro?
Yeah, and I don't know.
Have another blank tag run with another weird partner that no one's ever gonna remember.
Yeah, and they do a lot of that. And listen, the RK Bro experiment, success. It's not over yet, but success. I would call it.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, like these kind of makeshift tag team championship reigns, it means nothing. I mean, the tag belts in general mean nothing. It's a shame too, because you look at their tag rosters and they got a lot of good talent. And most of the time, the matches that I enjoy the most on any of these shows are tag matches. Not an overload of them like sometimes we see in AEW, but like, and we'll get to NXT later, but you'll know what I'm talking about more when we get to NXT. But anyways, moving on with the show here. Miz TV with the guest, the Mysterios. Miz asked the crowd to stand up and cheer for his wife, Maurice. He introduces the Mysterios. They come down to the ring. They sit down, and Miz kind of says, well, I feel some tension between us, and he kind of wants to bury the hatchet there for the trip spot last week. Now, did you see that trip spot, Kenny? It was pretty genius.
Oh, yeah, where he was, he pulled the Guerrero move.
Yeah. Oh, that was a really good, that was cool. I hope Miz kind of does more of that. But I mean, he cheats enough as is, but that was a clever move.
Yeah, I liked it.
But Ray says it was an underhanded move, which leads to Miz kind of yelling at the crowd, who kind of cheers when he asks them, am I a cheater? Am I a cheater? And he kind of goes crazy. Miz makes a point that why is he booed if he so-called cheats? But when Edge and Beth kind of cheat, they're revered for it. And he's referring to Beth, I guess, illegally beating up the Miz during their mixed tag match at the Rumble. Fair criticism, Kenny?
No.
No, I didn't.
I wouldn't have give a shit. Give Maurice a spear, so it's just fair game.
Yeah, well, pretty much. I think you hammered the point home, but Miz also brings up that why did Ray get a qualifying match against Styles last week and Miz never? He kind of got the shaft. He never even got a chance to qualify. And then this leads to Miz kind of listing off all his accomplishments. And then Ray says that every big win that he's got, everything he's achieved was all due because of cheating. This leads to Miz throwing a fit like he usually does, saying he's not a cheater. And then in there, he mentions that I think he might have said something like, you only got this match because you're the cover star of the upcoming WWE 2K22 game, which was a little nice plug there. They show a graphic, which is it was a weird little thing in the middle of all this. But anyways, Miz asks for respect, but he gets no respect. Dominic then takes the mic and asks, where is Miz's respect for his father? Miz starts antagonizing Dominic and Ray, and then he asks Dom, you're a little bit taller than your father. Are you sure you're not Eddie Sung? This sends Dominic off the rails, and he pushes Miz over in his Miz TV chair. Miz then demands a match right there, right now. So we get Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz, a rematch from last week. This is like a very quick match, not much to say. Maurice trips up Dominic, but it's right in the sight of the referee, so she gets ejected from ringside. Then after, when Miz runs the ropes, Ray trips him. This leads to Miz being distracted by Ray on the outside, and Dominic gets the roll-up victory and getting revenge from last week. So, yeah, not much to say there. I mean, I guess it's great. Dominic's got his win back. But, hey, for the 2K22 cover star, yeah, it's not really doing a whole lot.
Yeah, you would expect more.
But, but moving on here, we got Bianca Belaire versus Nikki Ash, Kenny's favorite character. Early on, Nikki targets Bianca's leg. She puts her in the single leg Boston Crab, and Bianca sells the leg throughout the rest of the match. Nikki hits a pretty good tornado DDT, but Bianca makes a comeback by kicking Nikki's head into the LED ring post. Bianca selling the leg as she's getting Nikki up for the KOD, but she eventually hits it for the win. This is another kind of nothing match. I mean, two great competitors, but it didn't advance anything. This is more just filler stuff. And speaking of filler stuff, let's get on to the 24/7 segment, the only one for tonight, which was, I guess, a good thing. So we see R-Truth, Tamina, and Tozawa run around. They look for the champion, who is Dana Brooke. And after they run off screen, Dana and Reggie come out of hiding. Dana thanks Reggie for all of his help, and then she gives Reggie a kiss on the cheek and just says they're really good friends. So Reggie gets friend zone there. So they're teasing, but they are teasing a little bit of a romance angle between the two. They get spotted and they run off. And why does this belt still exist? That's the only thing that's on my mind
It's
from watching
booger
that.
green, and it's not worth anything. Now, R-Truth has the most title reigns in your company. Congratulations.
Yeah, and this with the whole Dana Brooks stuff. I mean, listen, I would have just retired the belt with her. It's like, oh well, the guys
I'll
can't
just give it
roll
to
her up, pal.
R-Truth. Tell him to hang it on his closet rack next to his jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, just get it out of here.
But so it's whatever. We're gonna get on to something really good. Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. So Austin Theory, I don't know if you noticed this, Kenny, but he has brand new theme music. I got to go back and listen to it because I didn't know if it was an upgrade or a downgrade. But I wasn't really. I'm not really a big fan of any of these Death Rebel themes that come out. So I'm sure it's not going to be too much difference here. We got a fast start early on. Austin rushes Owens, but later on in the match, Theory goes for the steel chair spot that he done last week to Owens. Owens, however, reverses this and hits a cannonball onto Theory from the stairs, then hits a frog splash from the ring apron onto the floor. Later on, the two are fighting on the second rope. Owens gets Theory on his shoulders and hits a roll-in fireman carry slam. Owens goes for the Swanton bomb, but Theory gets the knees up. Closing moments of the match, Theory goes for the Rolling Thunder drop kick from the apron, but meets a super kick on his way there. Owens hits the stunner for the win. So Owens has his heat back. This was a pretty good match. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it was better than last week. I'd probably just say go check out last week's.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I mean, you got
first
two.
time's always the best, or the first time of the.
Yeah, always the better match usually. But yep. I mean, cool match. If you want to go out of your way, check it out. It's definitely one of the highlight points of Raw. But let's move on here to Riddle and Orton backstage. Orton's hyping up Riddle for his upcoming match in the Chamber. He tells Riddle to just clear his mind for tonight and focus on his match against Rollins. Riddle says he's focused. He goes to walk up, but then he comes back and just starts rambling about potentially winning the tag titles, the WWE title, being a double champ. And then he mentions throwing a Broga party for their win in the Quiz Bowl. So we'll get back to that later on. And then Randy tells Riddle to focus on his match. He reiterates it, and Riddle walks off. So yeah,
I hope we get it.
let's hope Riddle can stay focused later on. But we are now on Lita and Becky Lynch. So before the segment, we get another Veers coming to Monday Night Raw segment, little promo package. So well, how about this? Let's do a little prediction. When do you think Veer will actually debut?
And
you can say never. That is an
November 2024.
November 2024. Yeah, that's a good prediction. I would say he will debut the night after Mania.
And do what?
Probably attack Finn Balor because Balor's got nothing to
do. And then they'll have a 24/7 feud.
And if I get this right, I probably won't. But if I get this right, then you can make maybe you can make assumptions that I could be on the Raw creative team if I get that right. But
anyway. Man, all you had to do was book a friggin' Commander Aziz and Shaggy match. And
God, talk about a barn burner right there, folks.
I'd burn my barn if it was that.
I'd probably burn my house. But anyways, they show a little recap of last week when Lita came out and made a surprise return and challenged Becky for the Raw Women's Championship at Elimination Chamber. So after the recap, Lita mentions all the tough competition that was in this year's Women's Royal Rumble match. And then when she mentions, I noticed this, she mentions Ronda Rousey's name and you can audibly hear some boos. So yeah, I don't. We got a very mixed opinion on Rosie's return. I'm mostly indifferent to it. What about you, Kenny?
I don't mind it yet. I gotta see where it's going. I'm gonna give it a chance. But Ronda, it seems like she still got it. Like she seems driven.
Yeah. And with her promos, I thought her promo on Friday was a little bit better than last week's Raw. But yeah, I don't know. With her and Charlotte, I'm indifferent to it. Like, yeah, it's a good ratings draw for sure, but I'd rather see her and Becky.
I'd like to see a mouthpiece on Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I would like to see honestly, kind of what Diamond Mine is, but like more notable names, like kind of like that MMA faction.
Yeah, or even I would like to see Lacey Evans be her mouthpiece.
Yeah, and with the thing with people who just kind of, because I don't think Rosie's sticking around much after Mania. I don't know if she'll even win. She might. I don't know. We'll have to do a predictions video, but I'm not necessarily invested into people that like kind of come back for maybe like a few months. And like, I guess I am a little bit invested in this Lita match, but it's just, I know what it's for. It's just a Saudi Arabia match just to get those numbers in. Same with Goldberg. I mean, we've been burnt by part-time winners too many times, and not to discredit Ronda. She had a great run last time, but I can't act and pretend like I'm very excited for her match with Charlotte at Mania.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's not overly long. I hope they don't go too long with it to show what Ronda can do good. Like Charlotte they don't need to put on a long performance.
No. And they definitely shouldn't be doing any promo battles because I've said it before. I'll say it always. Charlotte is just not good on the mic. I've never been impressed by one Charlotte promo. And I'm just a random guy. I'm just a random YouTuber. If I was in a crowd, if I was in a sea full of people watching me, I probably wouldn't be too great on the microphone either. But she's cut promos for how many years now? Like since 2016. How long she's been on the main roster for? 2015, 16. Like none of them's impressed me. And
you would think when you think about wrestlers, you think about one and then you think about a promo they've done. I can't even come up with one notable one.
Yeah, like one notable segment that got me really excited. I got the only segment that I guess is like really big that I can think of off the top of my head was when Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte was all going at it. They was like kicking each other. The cops arrested all of them. But I didn't get hyped up for the mic quality, the mic work. Yeah. It's more just the moment. But anyways, we're going to get back on track here. So after Lita's kind of, kissing up to the crowd because she's the, baby face here, Becky Lynch interrupts her. She basically states how she idolized Lita growing up. And she's also, I think she mentions where without Lita, there is no Becky Lynch. But she says it's very hurtful for your idol to try to take everything away from you. Becky says that she has no problems getting rid of her friends and her fans, and she will get rid of Lita at the Elimination Chamber. Lita says that the fans helped her achieve all her accomplishments in WWE, although she hasn't had a title match in 15 years. The WWE fan support will never go away, and then she proclaims she will be a 5-time women's champion. Doubtful, however.
Very
Becky, so Becky's heard enough. She attacks Lita. She goes to leave the ring, but she comes back to try to beat her up some more. But Lita comes back and hits Becky with a twist of fate and then a very nice moonsault to close the segment. I am kind of excited for this match. I know that I'm looking like a hypocrite now, as I said, I can't get invested into part-timers, but for a good one-off match, and I don't think Lita's winning. I think it's very inconsequential, but I think it should be like a good spectacle, I guess.
And she isn't overexposed.
No,
Lita isn't like compared to a Goldberg.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, we need something big, and Goldberg goes, I do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't go on and speculate if Goldberg kind of goes into business for himself. I don't think he really does. It's probably just a Vince call. Whenever there's a Saudi Arabia show, I mean,
there must just been a certain amount of matches on his contract, I feel like.
Yes, there is. And this match with Roman, I think, is his last one. Unless he signs a new deal, I can't see it. I think this should be the last Goldberg match because I don't think there's anyone left for him to really face that would be bigger than that match.
I understand this Roman Reigns match, just throwing them together because it hasn't happened, and this is Roman's historic run where he's going to beat everybody before he loses it.
Yeah.
So why not add Goldberg's name to the list to make it look more impressive? But
exactly. And despite no, I'm not sold on anything. I ain't sold on anything to do with Goldberg, and I probably won't. But the Saudi fans like him. That's undeniable. So, and it's a draw. I mean, it's all business. WWE's all big business, not necessarily show quality. So it's right up their alley. But going on with the show here, we are backstage with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. So Owens enters the room and asks for a spot in the chamber because he just beat Theory earlier the night. Both say that's really not how it works because he lost his qualifying match. Owens says that the fans need him at WrestleMania and that they're depriving the fans of seeing him win the chamber match and go on to main event WrestleMania. Sonya tells Owens that he might not even be on the WrestleMania card. That's rough.
Oof. With the amount of money you just paid that man, he best be on that freaking card.
That's not something you want to hear if you just re-signed, but Owens is just bewildered by this. He states that he has a strong bond with Texas, which is this year's WrestleMania location. He states that the Texas fans need him at WrestleMania. He kind of just goes over all his past like moments and experience with the Texas audience. Owens pretty much he's bagging the two for a spot, and he walks off without an answer from either of them. So things are looking bleak for Kevin Owens. What I hope this turns into is a Owens rampage. Whoever's in kind of like the top spots, he's just going to beat him up.
Yeah, like just make his own path.
Exactly, because like we see like the psycho Kevin Owens pop out like in NXT, like he turned on his best friend. I'm kind of thinking that's what's going to happen here with Seth. I feel like he's just going to beat him up.
Yeah, like loose cannon type. Just
yes.
Don't push his buttons.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I like everyone. I mean, it's great television to see an unhinged Kevin Owens. So we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens there. But after this, we get a Liv Morgan versus Dewdrop match. Both had like a pre-taped entrance promo, and they're just basically stating how they're going to win the chamber. I mean, they put in good work in this match. It wasn't very long. The crowd was definitely into this, though. It was very back and forth, but it ultimately ended with Morgan losing to a corner splash from Dewdrop. And I guess Dewdrop's got some momentum going into the chamber. Now, the sixth participant in the Raw Women's Chamber match hasn't been revealed yet. Do you got any ideas on who it could be?
Maya. No.
Too soon.
Maybe Bailey.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. See, I don't think it's going to be anyone crazy like through the forbidden door. I could even see it being Lacey Evans, to be honest.
Could be fucking Tamina for all we know.
Exactly. So I'm not gonna. It's definitely a return of some sorts because I mean, listen, we're in Saudi Arabia. It could be a part timer. We don't know that, but there's probably a return in there. It's interesting, to see somebody.
The Queen of Saudi Arabia.
But I mean, you look at this way, like. There's a lot of women in this match. There's a lot of women wrestling at the chamber in Saudi Arabia. So looks like Saudi Arabia. They're all going to be in
t-shirts.
Yeah, they're all going to have weird ass wrestling attire. But hey, if that's the hill that Saudi Arabia wants to die on, that's just how it's got to be. I guess.
Hatas.
So now we're going to get to Kenny's favorite moment of the night with the Bliss therapy session.
That's right. I wish I was there.
So the therapist says to Alexa that she's making good progress. Bliss kind of recounts her week without Lily and how she's restrained her more violent side. She eventually confesses that she did throw a woman down a grocery aisle for cutting her off in the checkout line. And this basically leads to the therapist saying, okay, there's a little more work to do. Let's hope this ends soon. Just kind of worn out at this point. This is just another just filler nonsense, basically.
And basically, yeah, you're nuts. Are you better? Nope. Yeah. Okay. See you next week.
Exactly. Like for I don't know how many weeks now. I actually didn't even know she came back because I kind of tuned off for Raw a little bit, but now they're doing the podcast. I'm back into it. But yeah, I thought maybe she'd be like a surprise entrant in the Rumble. That's where I thought she'd return, but I guess she already did return before that. So yeah, that's kind of a weak way to come back. And let's hope this ends very soon.
Very.
Very. But we are now on the main event. Seth Rollins versus Riddle. Before the match, Kevin Patrick's in gorilla position with Seth. Seth says, no offense to the other 5 participants in the chamber match, but they are simply not Seth freaking Rollins. He says that his accolades speak for themselves and that he's never gone into Mania as the WWE champion, I guess, or world champion, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
He's wanted in the main event, which is probably one of the greatest Mania moments of all time.
Oh, it's up there.
But yeah, so after this, so I don't know if you caught this, Kenny, but during Riddle's entrance, like the first few fans that Riddle goes to fist bump, they just don't even bat an eye at him. Like they just refuse him. I just thought that was pretty sad, man. I was like, what the hell has Riddle done to you? You know?
Yeah, that's so odd because his character's so like goofy and lovable.
Yeah, I know. Like, fuck them fans. But
That's like saying no to an ice cream sandwich.
Exactly. Some people out there, you know. But
Yeah.
great action early on. Seth catches Riddle's leg when he goes for a PK on the outside. He gets him in the buckle bomb position and throws Riddle right into the barricade behind the announcer's table. But Riddle eventually comes back. He hits a springboard floating bro to Seth on the outside. And now that Riddle's kind of mounted a comeback, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins' best friend, comes out and attacks Riddle, causing a DQ. Owens' music then hits and runs to the ring. He hits an RKO on Owens for the save. Now, this goes to commercial break, but during commercial, Adam Pearce, I'm assuming, because he was outside, he was at ringside, he makes it a tag match. So it's RK Bro versus Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Good action, you know, but we'll get into the closing moments of the match. Riddle goes to pick up Seth, but Seth reverses and hits his forearm into the back of Riddle's head. Riddle gets down, and then Seth manages to hit the curb stomp on Riddle for the win. Owens gets in the ring, and Orton's there to meet him, and he gets hit with an RKO again. Seth retreats, and he's just kind of walking up the stage, walking away laughing. So he kind of leaves Owens high and dry.
He gives me Joker vibes.
Yeah, oh, for sure. The laugh and everything, and just the stuff that he wears. I mean, we'll probably see a Joker attire Seth very soon, unless we've already seen it. I don't know.
I think he wore a suit themed like that with the Roman Reigns promo before the Rumble.
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
he was dressed in Joker colors, like in the purple and green.
Okay, I'll check that out after. But we'll get into a little preview of next week's Raw. Brock Lesnar will appear, probably to talk about his upcoming match in the Elimination Chamber. We are going to get AJ Styles versus Damien Priest for the United States Championship, which that will be very interesting and a very good match. I don't know if I see Styles winning, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the right call to make a move here, but I also don't really like in the direction Damien Priest is headed either.
Yeah. Unless Styles wins and we get like a full-blown Priest heel turn, which I think that will do a lot of wonders, because now he can just he can be that cocky, kind of arrogant, like cool fella that he was in NXT. Mm-hmm. But, you know, just an asshole. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I think if he does like turn
a badass, so why not make him one?
Yeah, now that Styles is like a face, like he just kind of had a baby face turn out of nowhere. I mean, I don't see an issue with any of this, but I am looking forward to it. And we're going to get Riddle hosting the RK Broga party. So that will probably open the show, and that will be very interesting to see.
That's going to be gold. I already know it's going to be gold.
Oh, yeah. So this week's Raw drew in 1.3 million viewers. Now, I don't know if that's a upgrade or a downgrade from last week. I'm not too sure. But overall, it's just kind of stifling, really, isn't it? Like Raw has just been in the 1.2s to 3s to 4s.
Yeah, typically. I would say that's right.
Probably in that ballpark. But overall, so Kenny, who I revealed your shoot name earlier, but you didn't hear that. What did you think of this week's Raw?
What's that? Sorry?
What did you think of this week's Raw?
Oh, overall, I mean, it had interesting points. I like the RK Bro stuff. I like everything that Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins have been in together. I just also don't see a long-term plan for that. I had point. It was like a roller coaster. At times I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And other times I'm like scratching my head until it's bald.
Yeah, there's I mean, that's main roster and, well, even NXT now in a nutshell. It's just the booking's just so off the wall now, and it's definitely week to week. I don't really, I mean, besides the really big feuds, there's no real long-term plans for anything. Out of all the Raws that I've seen, like these past few weeks, I think this is like a very inoffensive Raw. Like I can't come on here and say that it was bad. There is a lot of filler, but it's a 3-hour show. What moments were there? They were good. Definitely check out the Quiz Bowl if I had to recommend anything from this show. Also check out AJ Styles Priest Riddle versus Seth Rollins, and then the main event, the tag match with RK Bro and Owens and Rollins for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going to switch gears to NXT. All right, now we're going to be reviewing the February 8th, 2022 edition of NXT 2.0. And this is the go-home show to next week's event, Vengeance Day. It's not a takeover, but it's like a special episode of NXT, I guess.
Yeah.
But we opened the show with a Mandy Rose kind of promo package. She says that tonight she will get the last laugh and will end Kaylie Ray's career. She wants respect on her name because she is the baddest bitch in the game. So that opened the show. And the match, opening match, we had the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic semifinal match between the Creed brothers of Diamond Mine versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. The JYV make their entrance, and Zach Gibson's, he's already talking trash on the microphone. And the Creed brothers hear enough, and a brawl breaks out on the entrance ramp. But eventually they get the match underway, and the Grizzly Young Veterans are just getting ragdolled like all over the ring in the beginning of the match. Eventually, though, JYV get the upper hand, so they take Brutus to the outside under the ring, and they grab his legs and slingshot him throat first into like the ring apron bar. So that was kind of a gruesome spot there. After being beaten down, Brutus Clay. Brutus manages to get Julius for the hot tag. Julius starts cleaning house. JYV get Julius to the outside, and Drake does the damn dive onto him. But the freaky thing with this is that Julius almost hit his face into the announcer's table on the way down.
Oh yeah, too much momentum.
Yeah. So when Drake kind of pushed him, he kind of almost, but he managed to dodge it. He's got that great outside awareness, I guess they call it.
Elusive.
That's right. But the closing moments of the match, Brutus, Zach, and James Drake, they were in the corner, and Drake was up top. So this was the craziest thing of the whole match. Julius runs up like his brother's back and then hits a top rope suplex onto Drake. This takes Drake out of the equation. Now it's just the Creed brothers and Zach Gibson in the ring. Julius hits his rolling slam to Gibson. He goes for the clothesline, but Brutus stops him because he wants to finish the job himself. So they win the match, and they secure a spot in the finals of the Dusty Cup. This is definitely worth checking out. Even if you're kind of a lapsed fan of NXT, I would definitely check out this match. It was a great opener, and this was probably my favorite tag match of the night. But there is one more that we'll get to in a bit. Kenny, what did you think of this match?
This was a barn burner from start to finish. Honestly, this was a great match. It was above and beyond even what I was even having expectations for it. Like, I was expecting this to be a good match, and it even exceeded it.
Oh yeah, like the Creed brothers have really come into their own, like, a lot. Like,
I like that clothesline from like the finishing shot. That signature scene is just amazing.
Yeah. So what honestly, one of my favorite tag teams in the game right now is Grizzled Young Veterans. I feel like they'd be wasted on the main roster, but they really shouldn't be, because Zach Gibson's got the charisma. Like, he can get the crowd to hate him. Like, he's just got that voice that kind of goes through you.
Yeah, I feel like they could take the shoes that what FTR should have done in WWE.
Yeah, like, and even their match quality, like, you're not going to get a bad match out of the two. And
exactly, they're workhorses.
Oh yeah, like, I think the tag division on the main roster, I mean, NXT's tag division, don't get me wrong, they need them there for now. But, like, I would put stock in the Grizzled Young Veterans. I wouldn't sleep on them if I was Vince, but obviously we don't know how that will go.
Anything.
Yeah, we don't know what he likes anymore. I only know if he likes himself. But
he probably don't even let himself sneeze.
No. He might have like a irrational fear or something.
He has to keep his sneezes to himself. He has to internally digest them.
Oh man. But after the match, we get a Cora Jade backstage interview with Mackenzie Mitchell. They show a little recap of the match Jade had with Raquel last week, kind of earning Raquel's respect, and they are confirmed to be entering the Dusty Cup as a team. So Jade's hopeful for their partnership. They're going to knock hits in the tournament. but they get cut off, and I might butcher these names. Valentina Feroz and Yulisa Leon. Have you ever seen these two on NXT? Because I can't remember. Maybe someone in the comments might remember, but yeah, I don't. That's kind of a running theme with NXT, though, isn't it? Like the 2.0 is just new people just kind of pop up backstage for no rhyme or reason.
It's like impossible to. It's just like, oh, didn't you know? Here's Blossom Booperganger. Like, what the fuck? Who the hell is that?
Yeah, it's a weird. I don't know. It's a weird practice that's going on there. But anyways,
And
they start.
like, look behind this box. Uh-oh, it's a 5'4" women's wrestler.
Yeah.
What should we call her?
I know. Like, I mean, hey, at least these names ain't as bad as like the Von Wagners out there, and I'd even say the Braun Breakers out there. I mean, I wouldn't call them great names.
Really had to recycle Braun.
Yeah, I know. Well, I actually got a comment about Braun Strowman later on. But so the team starts talking smack to Jade, then Raquel comes in and she starts telling them off in her native tongue, Spanish. The team walk away. They called Jade something in Spanish, and Raquel doesn't tell her what they said, but Jade wants to know, and that was the end of that segment. Cool. Wendy Chu versus Tiffany Stratton. Before the match, we get a little recap of Chu beating Miller last week and then stealing Stratton's credit card. Chu and Miller, are seen entering the arena with shopping bags, so they definitely put that credit card to use. I don't know how Tiffany Stratton's dad didn't cancel it right away. It's pretty. I feel like it's pretty.
That card like a night lady.
You can at least lock it, but
yeah, you can suspend the account.
But anyways, Wendy says it was fun shopping while it lasted because the credit card was canceled. She throws it in the garbage, and then after this, Chu and Stratton make their entrance. The bell rings. The match starts. Tiffany's asking Chu, where's the credit card? So Chu's reaching in her pockets, but comes up with nothing. I mean, throughout the match, Chu's kind of doing her, I guess, sleepy move spots to Tiffany, kind of outsmarting her. And at one point, she steals like a somersault corner splash, like one of Tiffany Stratton's moves. She steals it, and this enrages Tiffany. She starts drop kicking Chu in the corner, hits her with this kind of corner splash twist. I don't know what the call is, like what they call the move.
John Morrison-esque.
It was very like Starship Pain, but not quite as cool. But
yeah.
Anyways, what do you think of this? By the way, do you know who Wendy Chu was before this gimmick?
I don't know. Was she a coffee barista or something?
It was Mei Ying.
Mei Ying.
Xia Li and that Boa fella. Yeah, that was the girl in the chair. That was her.
And now she's sleepy.
Yeah.
The silence was deserved right there. Because what the?
Yeah.
You can't tell me that she goes from freaking a demon princess on a throne to Sleepy Gary.
Yeah, it's very,
I don't like that.
I mean, at least she had face paint, so like the casual viewer probably wouldn't know it was the same woman, but it's really weird. This was just another.
Blew my mind with that though.
Yeah, this is like a throwaway feud. Like it's not. I don't know. It's something for them to do. I guess
I'm not a different credit card. The other Sleepy Gary's gonna go back to sleep.
Yeah. So that's. End the story. And then we're moving on. So we are backstage with Draco Anthony. Now, Draco Anthony isn't very happy with how things went in his debut last week. And then Joe Gacy and Harlan walk in with Gacy basically telling Draco to keep his spirits up and that he is there for him. So he might be trying to induct him into his, I guess, what would you call it, cult? I don't know.
Yeah, it's cult-esque.
His happy friends? I don't know.
Yeah, the happy friend gang.
Yeah, I think Gacy and Happy Corbin need to have a little chat.
Madcap
Ma. So
24/7 champ.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's where this gimmick's going. But anyway, backstage with Pete Dunn. Dunn says Tony D'Angelo is all talk and that he's been very quiet ever since his loss to Cameron Grimes last week. He says it's got to be pretty hard to post anything on social media when his fingers were crushed by a cricket bat. Dunn looks to finish off Tony once and for all in a steel cage match. And this is where Draco Anthony walks in and kind of shows respect to Dunn. He offers the handshake. Dunn refuses, saying he's going to smash Draco's fingers in their match up next. This leads to Pete Dunne versus Draco Anthony. And the match started in commercial break, but when they get back, the camera pans to Gacy and Harlan standing on the balcony. Draco got some good offense in for what it was. As the match goes on, Draco notices Gacy and Harlan on the balcony, kind of distracts him for a little bit. But in the closing moments of the match, Dunn is sent to the outside, and he is focused on Anthony in the ring. Tony comes out of nowhere with a crowbar, goes to smash Dunn's fingers as a little receipt, I guess. Yeah. But Dunn dodges the attack and sends Tony into the ring post, shoulder first. Dunn gets back in the ring, hits a snap German suplex, then finishes it off with a better end to win the match. After the match, Tony goes to choke out Dunn, but Dunn grabs Tony's fingers and snaps him. And after this, Dunn goes to the outside and he just starts throwing a bunch of chairs, garbage cans, and a toolbox into the ring. Dunn gets on the mic and suggests that the two should have a weaponized steel cage match. And Tony didn't have a mic, but you can hear him say, I agree. So this makes it official. Next week on Vengeance Day, well, I guess it's kind of Valentine's Day themed, but we will get Pete Dunne versus Tony D'Angelo in a weaponized steel cage match. What do you think of Pete Dunne? And do you have concerns for him that he was wrestling on main event, but now he's back down in NXT?
I'm liking this feud if he comes out on top, because I'm not a huge D'Angelo guy. I don't like they stole his name from a hockey player. First of all, there's a hockey player named Tony D'Angelo. Like, think a little. And number two, I like the weaponized steel cage, but I think Pete Dunne needs this win more, because it's always been he's elevated so many different people lately that it seems like it's always been him being the elevator, that he needs to be elevated.
Yeah, you see a lot of that with the NXT, I guess you call 1.0 guys, like the black and gold NXT, like Pete Dunne, LA Knight, Ciampa. I mean, yeah, they still win from time to time.
But they've been laying down a lot.
Yeah, like in the big matches, in the big moments. I like how they handled Ciampa versus Braun Breaker with that whole feud. I mean, at least Breaker didn't beat him the first try. Yeah, and I think that was a good story that was told. But yeah, I don't know where Dunn can go.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe a North American title shot.
That would be cool if he's staying in NXT. I feel like that's probably where this is going. Like, once this feud's kind of, whoever wins will most likely face whoever's the North American champion. But it's a little concerning when you see guys like LA Knight, Pete Dunne, and Tommaso Ciampa and Roderick Strong. They've wrestled on main event a few times, and I kind of suspected they'd be in the men's rumble this year, and they wasn't even in the men's rumble. But I think they might have been backstage as alternates. But I mean, maybe I don't know. Was Vince not impressed, and that's why they're back in NXT?
A lot of stuff was happening backstage at that Rumble, so who knows?
Oh yeah.
The best in the world.
Shame it, man. The newly departed. Shame. But so I guess we'll have to
fired. Shame. Make a man.
What do you think of all these comments about him going to AEW?
Man, God the only thing he seems to be going is the asylum, man. He's local for Cocoa Puffs.
Must run in the family or something.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of his father. Little Vinnie Mac and the boy.
Vinnie Mac. After this match, we go to Zoe Starks and Io Shirai backstage. Starks is showing concern that Io has not found a partner yet in all the steep competition that lays ahead in the Dusty Cup tournament. Zoe says that they need to find somebody who's hard-hitting and crazy like Io. Io agrees, and then she says she has someone in mind. When Zoe asks who, Io refuses to answer, walking off. So, don't know who that will be. I can't even begin to speculate.
To be continued, I guess.
I'm trying to think. Maybe. Well, no, I don't even know how that would go though with travel. I was gonna say sorry if I pronounce this wrong, but Miko Satomura, who's the NXT UK Women's Champ right now.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of who I was maybe thinking. I can't see it being Asuka. I can't see it being Asuka because I don't know if they'd blow that reveal on NXT 2.0
Yeah,
that return.
I don't. Yeah, and with the overall they revealed for Asuka in the new upcoming game, it doesn't make sense for her to be on NXT compared to what NXT people seem to be getting rated.
Yeah, like Asuka's like kind of on a different level, I guess.
Yeah.
So it'd be odd to see her come back. I mean, I wouldn't complain. I mean, her and Io as a tag team would be great, but when she says someone crazy and hard hitting, like I could only assume Asuka or someone like that because I don't know who else fits that mold.
Yeah, there's not
off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's not very many people in NXT 2.0 that we know of that capability.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to let it
Who
all
knows
play
what she's
out.
talking about?
Yeah, maybe we'll see something on Vengeance Day. They might have a few
Could
backstage
be a
segments.
debut.
Yeah, something like that. Hard to say. But after this, we get LA Knight versus Sanga with Grayson Waller at ringside.
That's that person's name.
Sanga, yes, it is. And okay, we talked about Braun Strowman earlier. Did you see Sanga's gear? It looked like a spitting image of Braun Strowman's gear,
Exactly.
like head to toe.
I was like, I've seen this before. It was copy paste.
Minus the gloves and the elbow pads. You know, Sanga looked like someone who like just kind of went into the WWE 2K like custom superstar creations. Like, I'll just add a few Braun Strowman clothes and
It
call
looks
it a
like
day.
he's like ready for a military workout.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He looks kind of freaky. Like, he looks scary. Like, I wouldn't mess with the guy. Don't get me wrong. But
I would.
Is it the twirly mustache?
Yeah, it just gives me too many Mario Bro vibes.
Now, I might be wrong on this, but do you remember when Veer and Sarav, I believe his name was a tag team in NXT back when it was black and gold?
No, I don't actually. I don't.
They were managed by Malcolm Bivens, and I don't know someone if they watch and they know is Sanga Sarav? I might fact check this right quick. Actually, I got my laptop handy.
You got your interwebs right close.
Oh yeah, but I got to fact check that because I don't know. I think it is. Yep, I think. Yeah, I think it is the same guy who used to be called. Yeah, so this used to be Sarav. So Sarav, listen, Veer's tag team partners on TV before Veer. He's in the minor leagues. So what does that say?
Yeah.
But before this match with LA Knight and Sanga even get underway, Chu is backstage, kind of, like beat up from the match earlier. Dakota Kai is going through her shopping bags and saying that these new clothes won't buy her wins in NXT. So teasing a little bit of tension there between the two. What a feud. LA Knight, when the match starts, LA Knight gets some quick hits to start off, but Sanga just starts hammering him down to the mat. Later on in the match, Grayson takes off one of the top turnbuckles. Knight gets distracted by Waller. He attempts to hit him off the ring apron. Sanga charges at Knight, but Knight dodges, sending Sanga into the exposed corner. Knight hits the jumping net breaker for the win. After the match, Grayson Waller goes to jump Knight, but Knight comes back with a series of punches and then hits his finisher, the BFT, onto Waller. Knight then gets out of dodge, finally getting one over on Waller. What do you think of LA Knight? He's honestly one of my favorites right now. Anyone who knows me in real life, they know I'm a big LA Knight guy, like especially the people I work with. So,
yeah, I'm big on what he can be. I'm not big on what this feud is, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, totally, yeah. I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, we know Knight's probably not going to come out on top with this one. They got to build up Grayson Waller, and no disrespect to Grayson Waller, but I'd rather see Knight do something on the main roster, progress his career, than trying to progress the career of.
I feel like they're using too many. They're there's putting too many people from NXT 2.0 that we've never seen before. They're putting too many people over it, the other guys, like so fast.
Yeah.
It's just like we've never seen it before, and they're winning every match.
And you heard the report of like Vince and backstage, you know, people being a little bit upset with the ratings that NXT 2.0 has been pulling in. But to me, that's not all that surprising because look at the drastic change that happened, you know, in the span of a few weeks.
Yeah, when you overhaul something for the worse and you don't expect good results, you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, like it's hard for the fans, like, you know, to get invested in all these new characters, and you see the old guard leaving, like O'Reilly. He's gone on to, you know, probably do better things in AEW. I haven't seen much from him yet, but that's just because he just had a child and he's got to be home with the family. But when he gets back, he'll probably light it up with Bobby Fish. Yeah, but I mean, look at what they was doing with the people who probably a lot of the NXT audience got invested in. Like O'Reilly was putting one of the lamest tag teams I've seen yet with Von Wagner.
That was shot in the dark.
Ciampa. Well, first of all, let's talk about LA Knight being jobbed out on the first two nights like 2 times in one night on the very first episode of 2.0.
Yes, I remember that too.
He lost a breaker, and then he ate the pinfall when Ciampa won the NXT title.
It's just
so that basically sums up LA Knight in NXT. His best moments was the Cameron Grimes feud, but anything than that, I mean,
the $1 million championship feud was gold.
And LA Knight isn't getting any younger too. Yeah.
What, like Cameron Grimes had it, and then now he doesn't. Like, what happened there?
Yeah, that was.
And why does Ted not know him anymore? Like, where's Ted?
Ted carted off the real one. He's sitting at home collecting the checks,
royalty checks from his
That's
name.
Right. So after this match, we get Duke Hudson backstage, and when the camera pans over to this segment, he is standing. You guys got to go back and watch this because he's standing in the weirdest, like, stoic pose I've seen yet. Like, he's just like he's on edge. I think that's what they were trying to convey here, but it was like the most phoned in kind of stance I've seen yet. And he's feuding right now with Dante Chen. I think he states that, well, I think there's a reason why Dante Chen isn't there to attack him tonight. And then out of nowhere, he wishes Indy Hartwell luck in her tag match next week for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles against Gigi Dolan and JC Jane of Toxic Attraction. Yeah, Duke Hudson. I mean, he's not a gambler no more, but he's just now he's hitting on Indy Hartwell. So is this going to lead to a Dexter Loomis feud, which I'm sure the 5 people on Twitter maybe want to see?
Yeah. What has Loomis done since the Gargano story?
Yeah, he's another guy that's kind of fallen under the radar. Loomis is in a weird category. He was looking
like a North American title candidate, and they just kind of didn't go that way. That's when they kind of went Bronson Reed, and I never understood that.
Yeah, even looking at the landscape now, though, I don't see Loomis. I don't know. Like, I feel like my thoughts on Loomis have kind of gone down. Like, for champ title wise, I just don't see any division where he's going to fit right now, just based off what he's been doing, which is a comedy romance angle.
Yeah, and that's ran its course, and now he needs new depth. He needs something different. He needs something new. He needs a reason to do something. He needs a change, maybe a gimmick he can change.
Yeah, like, and I think for the most part, the comedy with him's worked, but he hasn't done anything of note. And last time I saw, he's been looking up at the lights usually. So,
oh yeah,
I feel like his stock's gone down a little bit.
He was too much in the black and gold brand. He's still considered there, but he wasn't there long.
Yeah, he's just not a focus.
Yeah.
He's not someone who's probably going to get a big push in the near future, but who knows? We're just going to have to be patient. Maybe they got some kind of plan for him long term. I'm not holding my breath, though. Anyways, next up is the NXT Championship Summit. hosted by Wade Barrett, of course. So Santos and Legado del Fantasma are already in the ring. Braun Breaker gets introduced. He makes his way down. He wants to keep things short. He says that we all know how these contract signings go, and he wants to flip the table and just go at it with Santos right now. Santos kind of undermines him. He calls him young and naive and says, well, guys like Heyman are singing his praises. I mean, Santos already has a plan to end Braun's career early. Everything's on Santos' time. Braun starts getting heated, and that's when Raw's Dolph Ziggler, of all people, his theme song plays. Dolph takes Wade's seat, congratulates Braun for knowing how to use Twitter, and he tells him to chase the clout. Meanwhile, Dolph will hold on to his money and titles. Hey, Dolph had a few good digs in there and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I like Dolph on the mic, so.
Yeah, he's pretty slick.
So Dolph says, you want to know if I work Tuesdays? Well, apparently now I do. Thanks, Johnny Ace. Well, I don't hear that too many times nowadays. For the bonus, and ask who the hell is Braun Breaker. Braun grabs the mic. He says he's the reason why Dolph's even there right now. He will take him out after he deals with Santos next week. Dolph says even though 99% of the matches don't go his way, his accolades cannot be denied, and states that one title that he's never held his hands or has never got his hands on is the NXT Championship. The crowd starts chanting triple threat. Dolph says he's already in Braun's head. Then Ciampa's music hits out of nowhere, cutting off Ziggler as he's talking. So Ciampa sits down right next to Dolph. Then the crowd starts chanting Fatal 4-Way. He undermines Dolph here. He keeps calling him kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, realistically, Dolph, to me, he kind of does look younger than Ciampa.
But they're probably close in age.
Oh, yeah, I would say. Maybe Dolph might be a little older than they might even be the same age. I don't know. I'll have to fact check that one after. But when Ciampa starts calling out Dolph, but then Santos cuts him off. He asks, why are him and Dolph even there right now? Ciampa then threatens Santos if he cuts him off one more time, he's not going to make it to Vengeance Day to face Braun. Dolph asks Ciampa, where does it end with the same few hundred Florida SEALs that cheer for everything he does? This infuriates Ciampa. Then he kicks Dolph in the face and sends Dolph backwards out of the ring through the ropes. Legado del Fantasma, jump breaker. Wild and Mendoza ultimately put him through a table. Santos says everything is on his time. He's going to see Braun next week. Young champion gets the laugh before going in to the special event, I guess. What'd you think of all this? This is crazy. I like this a lot. This was my favorite moment of NXT in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely eye-catching. I enjoyed Breaker being blunt and to the point like he should be. He doesn't need to talk more than a couple words. That's all he needs to say.
He's the jock that's gonna take people out, basically.
Yeah. And I love Santos Escobar, honestly. He's been he fits his role so well, and he's great. Like, he does a little bit of everything, and he doesn't try to overdo it.
All four of these men, if they are in the NXT title picture, I'm perfectly okay with that. Like, that is a pretty good four to build a main event division around, for sure.
And Dolph's isn't he a Florida native, and that's where they do that? He could almost be like the NXT hometown hero.
I'm not too sure.
That would be something.
He's definitely got the look of someone from Florida, but I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely looks like spray tan in a bottle.
I know we're calling out Florida. This ain't good.
Yeah, shout out to Florida. Go Maryland.
NXT 2.0 sucks. Nah, we're just kidding it. Well,
we're just kidding it.
But anyways, if you guys are still not sold on checking out NXT with that tag match and this segment, at least check it out on YouTube or something, because the NXT World Title division is getting very interesting. So after this, we get Kaylie Ray, a hype package of her. She's smashing a bunch of glass around with a bat. She says that Mandy could have avoided all the humiliation if she just gave Ray the match in the first place. Ray says it will all be over when she takes the NXT Women's Championship later tonight. Then we get Grayson Waller backstage. So Waller and Sanga are leaving the arena. There's an off-screen interviewer. Even Grayson Waller says even though Knight won the match tonight, he's still a loser because he broke the rules of the restraining order that Grayson put on him. Waller says next week Knight will be arrested and that karma is a bitch. So,
so they're gonna wait a week to arrest a man. That does okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's how the world of wrestling works, I guess.
That's flawed thinking just to start. I can't get over that.
I mean, all I'm seeing here is like an impromptu match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a stat card already next week, but I could see that as like a little impromptu match or something. I would blow it off next week anyways. I don't think this has to go on for too much longer.
Yeah, they could blow it off and restructure.
Yeah. After this, we get Saray, who's got this kind of new amulet necklace her grandmother gave her gimmick. That's the best I can describe it. Versus Dakota Kai.
Give me jewelry, now I'm strong.
That's pretty much the consensus I've built in my brain. But
it's got an egg, so fucking anything can happen.
I guess you're right. Good back and forth, but at one point, Kai kind of botches the Scorpio kick, but she hits it on her second try, gets it. It's a good competitive match here. It ends when Saray hits her running drop kick to a seated Dakota Kai, then her sleeper suplex. Looks a little bit of a tongue twister there. Her sleeper suplex. She gets it. She hits it for the win, though. I mean, I like that. That is a very good move, though. It looks pretty deadly.
It looks like it hurts. I don't want to take it back.
So, what do you think of Saray's new character change here?
I understand where getting jewelry from family members makes you feel strong, but I also don't get why it makes you so strong to bury Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I think they're pulling a well out of anime or something, or maybe they're kind of thinking, well, this is
this is too much Pikachu shit for me.
I don't know what to make of it. I can't see Saray doing good on the main roster, but I don't know.
She doesn't fit the Vince mold. I won't say just the mold. They had the word Vince in there, so you don't say anything.
Yeah, his mold's a lot different than most people's.
Yeah, very, very different.
But so after this match, we get a kind of a segment, I guess, like pre-tape segment. I don't know. Carmelo Hayes, a cinematic segment, we'll call it. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams are at the barbershop. Carmelo and Trick are with their posse, and Trick hypes up Carmelo's dates with Ollie J, because I think he's been on a few supposedly in kayfabe, but I don't know. Maybe he has in real life. If he is, good on you. Good on you. They then switch gears to talk about Cameron Grimes, looking at his Wikipedia page and finding no accolades to his name, which, $1 million title, but yeah, I guess.
He's skipping everything over from Impact and
I think they were just focusing on NXT, but yeah, I guess maybe they got some point, but I guess we won't count I guess they are not going to mention the $1 million title anymore. Melo goes on to
nothing matters.
Oh, geez. Melo goes on to list all that he's done in his short time in NXT. Yeah, I mean, his North American title win, of course, his Breakout Star Tournament win, his unification win against Roderick Strong, where he won both the Cruiserweight title and North American title. Melo says he's always the money match and that Grimes only gained relevance because he's in a match with the A-Champ. So a little bit of shade thrown there to Cameron Grimes. We will hear from Grimes later on in the show. This is just a list of segments here, not a whole lot of matches yet. Indy Hartwell in the locker room. She's on the phone with Dexter, and they finish off their call. Her tag partner, Persia Parada, walks in and asks why Duke Hudson wished her luck in the match, but not Persia. Toxic Attractions, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane walk in. Indy calls Duke nothing but trouble. The two teams start talking smack to each other. Then Gigi holds up a picture of Indy and Duke together. I don't know what, maybe a baseball game or something. I don't know. So Persia sees enough of this and starts breaking into a fight with the two of them. And there's just a locker room brawl. And it cuts away from that. We get Nikita Lyons promo package. Lyons says she can sing, but she can also hold her own. Lyons says on the road, she's constantly had to fight off creepy concert goers and such people. Probably some mosh pitters here and there.
Variety.
Yeah, she probably went to a lot of mosh pits in her time. But she says even though her appearance can be deceiving, if someone looks at her and comes at her with that weak ass shit, they better watch out for this lion's roar. Yeah.
You may as well say this kitten's purr. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm a lion, hear me roar.
So
I'm good. Have a seat.
I mean, they're trying. I mean, I don't know if they even need to introduce new people.
Are they trying?
I think they're struggling to maintain what they got now. So I don't know why they're bringing in new people. What is it? No, what is the Nikita Lyons honestly going to do?
Yeah, that I couldn't tell you.
Seems I don't know, but we'll have to see. I can't pass judgment. We have never seen her in the ring or nothing. But
just already off to a bad start. In my
a little
opinion.
lukewarm, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just from where I sit. Garbage. Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, and Caden Carter, and Casey Catanzaro are all backstage. Josh is hyping up his partner Brooks to ask Caden out. This has been a recurring segment over the past few weeks. It's been god awful. Brooks goes over to them and asks them to hang out on Valentine's Day next week. Plans kind of go south though when Caden and Casey say they're both down. They're looking forward to it. Keyword, they are both. I mean, Brooks just wanted to go after Caden. The Casey is just, that's not in the equation. But so obviously Brooks botches it all. Only wanting to date with Caden. He gives Josh $8 to take Casey Catanzaro to the movies so he can get some alone time with Caden. Josh says, what the hell? Movies are 20. Oh yeah, he says, what the hell? $8 ain't going to cover it. Movies are about $20 a piece nowadays. He ain't wrong. Segment ends with Brooks saying he's not made of money. That's all I got to say about that.
Same.
Moving on. Just, yeah. Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic semifinals match, the second semifinals match. MSK versus Malik Blade and Idris Enofe, the newly up-and-coming team. Enofe and Blade are outmatched from the start. MSK is just performing their quick combination moves. I love seeing MSK in the ring. They can just out-wrestle everybody. After commercial break, both teams get the hot tag. We get a little strike exchange between Wesley and Idris Enofe. MSK hits Idris with the slingshot super kick into an assisted double stomp. I don't know if that's the correct terms for that, but that's, you'll have to watch it to find out and see if I'm getting it right. They go for the pin, but Malik breaks it up. Blade dives over Nash and hits Lee. Blade and Enofe hit an assisted cutter. Idris hits a top rope splash. He kind of hesitates for a little bit, but he hits it. Lee kind of missed his cue to break up the pin. I think it was probably 3, but he kind of missed his cue there. But they recovered from it.
I agree. It looked 3.
Yeah. Maybe a little screw job here. MSK. Yeah. MSK in the match by getting Idris up for the assisted blockbuster to earn a shot in the finals for the second year in a row. They are the Dusty Rhodes Cup finalists. So after this, the two teams are staring each other down with the Dusty Cup in between them. I'm looking forward to this. MSK versus the Creed brothers. What do you think, Kenny?
That is a good outcome. Everybody that is a wrestling fan should want to see this.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Clash of Styles, I think, is going to meet very well. Just looking forward to that Clash of Styles.
Oh, for sure. Who do you have winning? Like, who would you have win, I guess?
I think you got to put the Creed boys over.
I like their feud with Imperium. I know we haven't seen an Imperium MSK rematch yet, but if I'm thinking of 2 matches, I would like to see the Creed brothers. I feel like the Creed brothers are going to be NXT tag champs very soon.
Like,
out of all these new teams,
they're trending that way.
Yeah, they've been the best. They put in the work. I mean, charisma wise, I don't know, not really, but they just started out, so you got to cut them a little bit of slack.
Yeah, they got the mouthpiece though.
Wrestling's their strong suit. If they keep Malcolm Bivens by their side, they will succeed
For sure.
But now we're going to switch gears to Cameron Grimes' promo package. Grimes kind of goes over his growth thus far in NXT and all the hurdles he's overcome, and he is still a self-made man. Grimes says he would trade all the money, all the cars, and the mansion away and go back to the trailer park if it meant he could see that NXT North American Championship on his mantle. Grimes says 2020 will be his year and that the rocket boosters are ready, the fuel tanks are filled, and the coordinates are placed. And Grimes has a one-way ticket. Kenny, you want to say it? To
the
moon. Yeah, I mean, good. I like this a lot better than Grimes' promo. I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago. He was like making SpongeBob references. That was a bit odd, but yeah, I like this a lot better.
Yeah, this is what we needed compared to SpongeBob.
Yeah,
keep SpongeBob on Nickelodeon.
Well, I don't know. NXT kind of looks like Nickelodeon now, though.
That is true. It looks like Nickelodeon. It looks like the Rugrats threw up on it.
Yes. Yes, it does. After we get a backstage segment with Dakota and Wendy Chu, Kaylie's walking backstage, licking her wounds after her loss to Saray. Wendy's there to meet her and says, "Not as easy as it looks, is it?" And then walks off. And Kaylie, the scene ends with Kaylie just kind of standing there mumbling to herself. So it looks like probably the week after Vengeance Day, we'll get Wendy Chu versus Dakota Kai.
Yeah, can't wait.
Moving on, our main event of the evening, the NXT Women's Championship match, Kaylie Ray versus Mandy Rose. Before the match, Toxic Attraction is walking into gorilla position. Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada jump Gigi and JC, meaning that Mandy will have to go out there alone. This match starts fast. Mandy goes to rush Ray, but Ray counters, getting the early upper hand in the match. Mandy gets back into it, hitting Ray with a spine buster. As Mandy has Ray in a headlock, we get like an audio report. They do this from time to time with Mackenzie Mitchell. There's like a little audio. I like that. It's a cool touch. I haven't seen that before. But she basically says that both Toxic Attraction and Indy and Persia have been escorted out of the building. We get some good roll-up sequences here between the two competitors. Crowd was chanting, "Let's go, Mandy," Kaylie Ray. Like, there were a decent chunk of the match. They were really into this. I don't know if it became like, I don't know. It was like almost parody at this point. Like, they just kept going on and on. Like, but it was funny.
Yeah, they done it very like, we got paid to do this chant. We got paid to do this chant.
Yeah, I always wonder that too. It's like I question these NXT fans sometimes.
Yeah, I feel
like if we get a Wendy Chu on the main roster, it'd be a very different dynamic.
Yeah, everybody go, "Woo! You're so sleepy. Woo! You're so tired. Put that thing over your eyes and go to sleep, girl."
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself, folks. You heard it from the man himself. But both women are equally matched. Ray goes to climb the top rope. The referee's distracted by JC Jane on the apron. Gigi Dolan comes up from behind Ray, pushes her off the top rope. Then Mandy hits a running knee to retain the gold. Toxic Attraction beat down Ray after the match. Rose grabs Kaylie Ray's bat and starts calling her a freak. And then Io Shirai's music hits, and she takes out all three members. She hits Gigi and Jane with a springboard double drop kick, takes them out. Mandy comes up to try to jump her from behind, but Ray saves Io, hitting Mandy with the gory bomb. And Kaylie Ray and Io Shirai stand tall as the show closes. This week's NXT got 400K viewers. So that's outstanding.
I just figured something out. Maybe Kaylie Ray's the tag partner.
Yeah, now that I'm kind of thinking about it now, that could be where it's going. Unless I don't know. I was kind of expecting maybe they'll announcement for like Kaylie Ray versus Mandy Rose rematch with like Toxic Attraction barred from ringside.
Yeah, they could go that way too.
I don't know if they got someone else planned out. I just don't know where this is really going to go. I don't know because it's weird that the Dusty Cup isn't happening like the men's and the women's. It's not happening side by side.
Yeah, that's a bad call in my opinion.
But yeah, so we'll have to see what kind of plays out there. We're gonna run down the card for next week, NXT Vengeance Day. MS Key versus the Creed Brothers. Did I say MS Key?
MSG.
MSK versus the MSK versus the Creed Brothers for the Dusty Cup. The winner will receive a tag title match in the future. Toxic Attraction takes on Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada. They're defending their NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Pete Dunne will take on Tony D'Angelo in a weaponized steel cage match. Cameron Grimes versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT North American Championship. And finally, Braun Breaker versus Santos Escobar for the NXT Championship. And as far as we know, that's all the matches announced as the time of recording. So, Kenny, what'd you think of this kind of go-home show?
I didn't mind it in places. I like the Creed Brothers stuff. That was definitely my highlight.
Yep, 2 great tag matches for sure.
And everything else was passable. And then some of the segments were like there's some meat on the bone, but you got to skip some shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, that's kind of the par for the course there. It's just a lot of skippable stuff.
Yeah, that's the way to kind of tie it all together. It's a lot of skippable stuff with some watchable things in the middle.
Yeah, and it's a shame that NXT's kind of become that. I hated when NXT moved to 2 hours. Kind of come to terms. I came to terms with it when it was still black and gold, but I mean, it's real. I think it's really hurting the show.
Yeah, 2 hours of this shenanigans isn't helping anybody.
Just a lot of weird gimmicks that seem very, I don't know, to me it seems out of place. Like in nowadays wrestling, like you don't really see a whole lot of that in AEW or like, well, I mean, yes, you see silly, I guess, characters, but it's not so on the nose to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to describe this.
They force bad characters.
It's very like the poker player gimmicks, the amulets, the daddy's rich girl kind of like, it's very just forced gimmicks that seem out of place to me. But I don't know. This is just one man's opinion to another, but
yeah, I agree completely. It's just shoved down our throat.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought for all things considered, I thought what it needed to do, it succeeded in doing. We had some great matches in between
those matches. So,
oh yeah, I think Vengeance Day should be a good show. If everything goes to plan. Yeah, let's hope. Yeah. Oh god, I hope not. I hope things. Yeah. But I mean, with NXT, I think what's great about it is that I think there's enough talent there where they could replace. Like they got a few alternates.
Oh like, yeah.
I don't know what my match of the night would be for this week. I guess it would be the Creed Brothers versus the Grizzly Young Veterans, but also check out MSK versus Idris and Malik Blade, because that was also another good one. But everything else, if you had to skip it, go ahead. I would definitely check out the NXT Summit, Championship Summit with Wild the Dolph Ziggler coming into the fray. So he's working Tuesdays, brother.
That's pretty freaky.
He's working Tuesdays.
I like to see the movement, the fluctuation of talent from main roster.
Oh yeah, I think the Dolph coming to NXT maybe came a little too late, but at the same time, he's not really doing nothing on Raw. They may as well give him, at least he's in like the main spot of NXT.
Or Big Bob.
Yeah, or Big Bob. Yeah, I know he left him behind. That was kind of a jerk move, really.
I know, you could have had him tag along, and maybe one of these times at a takeover, you have maybe Dolph going after Breaker and Big Bob going after whoever's holding the North American title.
Yeah. So I'm assuming what's either going to happen is we're going to get Breaker and Ciampa versus Santos and Dolph as a tag match at some point after Vengeance Day, of course. Yeah. Or maybe some one-on-ones like Ciampa versus Dolph. And, well, obviously we're going to get Breaker and Santos. But honestly, if I'm looking at Santos and I'm thinking like he should be the one who actually has a fair shake on the main roster.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say he can't miss, but he's very capable of.
He's a very good talent.
Yeah, he seems like he can make anything work.
And I think that Santos should be the NXT champion by the end of this year at some point. I think he should win the gold.
Agreed.
I don't think. I mean, unless I don't know, maybe they're going to give Breaker.
Soon, in my opinion, though.
What'd you say?
I don't think it needs to be soon that he needs to win it, though.
No. I think Breaker should have a long, lengthy reign with the belt. I think. I don't see right now, like during all this, I don't know who could take it off of Braun yet.
Yeah, you gotta build somewhere in a different feud, someone to get him.
Yeah, and it's too early to even really be speculating on who that could be because I don't see Braun losing it anytime soon. I think he's gonna. What I would like to see is maybe have Dolph in a segment on Raw, and then have Braun Breaker come out, and then you could have some translation between NXT and Raw. Like, hey, this stuff on NXT actually matters.
Yeah, you've seen it done before with the Waller and AJ stuff.
Yeah, like I like it.
Capable of being done.
Maybe it might bring some numbers, maybe not. But I mean, it's worth a shot, and especially it gives the wrestlers who are young and coming up in maybe the next few years to the main roster, it gives them some history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
gives them to call back to later.
Yeah. But so episode of NXT. I mean, I'll kind of put it as a good show just because of like the stuff that was good was worth checking out. So it was very
wasn't dumpster fire, but it was manageable.
It was manageable. I definitely wouldn't say it was a chore to watch. And now we are going to move on to the craziest show of all three of these. AEW Dynamite. We've had Keith Lee obviously debuting, which we talked about earlier in the show. Jay White coming through that forbidden door, opening it up.
Like it.
And we also had a good tag match there with Punk, Mox versus FTR.
It was amazing. I took my time to watch that this morning and digested it. And I like the Doomsday Device part, but it took a long time to set that up.
Yeah. And a lot of these AEW matches can get kind of clustered up with like commercial breaks because they got to slow it down just to get to the big moment. But I thought every match for the most part delivered every segment. I thought this was pretty much a perfect episode of Dynamite, but we will get on to the full review very shortly. So AEW Dynamite tonight took place at Atlantic City, New Jersey. The show opens with an MJF kind of celebration segment. So all the Pinnacle members come out, and Wardlow just looks like he does not want to be there at all. Eventually, the team has a little group hug, and he's not included in that. But MJF comes out on a throne. He's being, carried by a few jabronis. I guess you call it sort of like a sedan, right? Yeah. He's being carried out by people.
Like medieval times. Like
something you'd see Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. WrestleMania.
MJF says he's going for the AEW World Championship. He lists off everyone that he's better than. He says he's better than guys like Omega, better than guys like Bret Hart in Canada, and that he's better than Punk in Chicago. So shade thrown at Punk. MJF says, so he calls out Tony Schiavone, MJF does, and CM Punk shows up on the screen. MJF says that Punk needs to beat FTR tonight to get a rematch with him. He says, good luck finding someone who's not Tweedledum or Tweedledipshit. He's referring to Sting and Darby Allin. So Punk will have to find a partner in order to get his revenge against MJF and I guess the Pinnacle. So what'd you think of this, Kenny?
I loved it. It gave me the mental picture of CM Punk going back to the locker room and just scouring through people. It gives me a visual. It gives me a reason to invest in something later in the night. And I think they've done a good job of building that up.
And the partner that he chose was a very good pick, but we'll get on to that later. Next up, Inner Circle team meeting. Now, over the weeks, we've seen Santana and Ortiz just being fed up with Jericho. They wasn't tagging him in their tag team match against 2.0 at Beach Break. And the team has just been kind of boiling down ever since. Now, Jericho, Hager, and Sammy make their way to the ring to Judas, and obviously the crowd sings along. Ortiz and Santana don't come with them, but Jericho calls them out. Jericho asked why they didn't tag him in during that match against 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Santana tells him to shut down the corny shit.
Yeah, he pretty much starts breaking it down.
That's right. Santana says Jericho only cares about himself. They feel that the Inner Circle only really benefits Chris Jericho at this point. They've sacrificed potential title opportunities to help Chris out at any given point in time. I mean, fair point there. Santana says the days of them playing second fiddle are over. Santana shuts down Chris when he's trying to speak. Chris says he reminds Santana reminds him of a young Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah,
little tribute to his friend there. Chris says they blew their chance against the Young Bucks, and that's not Chris Jericho's fault. He threatens to just kick them both out right there. And then here's a good dig. I like this. He says he mentions that he might have brought the wrong members of LAX into
the Inner Circle.
And this causes Santana to rush at him. Sammy tries to break it all up, and he gets on the mic, but Jericho shuts him down. He shuts him up, and that's what he says. And Sammy throws down. He's fed up with all of this. Sammy says he thought that Inner Circle was a family, and they're not going to help him become one of the greatest champions in AEW history. So he grabs his jacket, throws it down, walks out. So Sammy Guevara quit the Inner Circle.
Twice.
Tough break, but hey, he doesn't really need the Inner Circle at this point. He's got to take Auntie.
Yeah, that should be enough to fill his energy.
That's right. So Ortiz says Eddie Kingston is their brother in arms because Jericho's been kind of putting Eddie Kingston's name through the mud lately. Ortiz says that they don't settle their differences and arguments just by bickering. So they challenge Hager and Jericho to a match next week. Jericho says that after they beat them, they get a little attitude adjustment, and that ends the segment. So the Inner Circle breaking down. Now, I hope that Santana and Ortiz win, and I hope they just leave completely, and I hope this kind of leads to a Jericho heel turn.
Yeah, I could see it going that way, and I could see Jericho still hanging it with Hager, though.
Yeah, I mean, Hager, I don't even know where Hager can go here. He's muscle, basically, at this point.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything solo, and he hasn't spoken.
No, I mean, listen, Hager's not great on the mic, anyways. Hate to call it that, but
yeah, he's the hoss, and that's what he needs to be.
Yeah, and
maybe him and Wardlow can find each other and just destroy everything and become tag champs.
The 2-man power trip.
Fucking Alabama meat train.
Between Hager and Wardlow. Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think about
hours or something. That'd be sick.
Let us know what you think about Hager's position in AEW. Kind of sound off in the comments. Like, where do you see him going? Because it's not like he's even a main fixture really on AEW television.
No, I haven't seen.
He's just kind of there and not there.
Yeah, I want more for him if they're gonna keep him around.
Yeah, we'll have to. Well, maybe we'll get some development on Hager's status soon. Next up, we are backstage with Roppongi Vice. The Young Bucks stroll up on Trent and Rocky as they're talking. Tony and Adam, they're talking to Tony Schiavone, and then Adam Cole attacks him from behind. Out of nowhere, the Switchblade, Jay White, comes out. You see him back too. He comes into the camera back too. You see the back of his jacket, and he helps out the Elite. He helps him beat up Roppongi Vice. So through the forbidden door, in comes Jay White. Now, I read, and I got to pull this tweet up. So this was kind of a make good, I guess, by Tony Khan. I'll read this off to you. So Tony Khan tweeted, "I didn't secure Jay White until Sunday. I realized after the fact that Friday night, I butchered my own definition of the forbidden door and hype in tonight. I heard the fans' feedback and wanted to ensure that tonight would be a special Dynamite for all. Thank you. everyone who watched. So yeah, yeah, it was definitely a good make good, I'd say.
Yeah, that made up for something.
I wasn't really upset anyways. I mean, listen, this whole Forbidden Door stuff, it's been done to death. Like, just the term, I'm sick of it by now. Hurts
Yeah,
so much.
Open wrestling now. It's just an open world. It's just GTA now.
Yeah,
It's just GTA with
open world
cars.
simulator.
You can just put a bigger engine, get a bigger wrestler,
Yeah,
get a
pretty
bigger
much.
tag team, get a better this, get a different that.
And
There's
hopefully
always-
get better ratings as well.
Yeah.
That wasn't a shot at AEW. That's good for that's really every
we
business.
want good for them.
Yeah, yeah. I
We
mean,
want good.
well, and we'll get on to what they got for ratings this week. But next up is if things can get any crazier so far on this Dynamite, we get the Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier. We have Isaiah Cassidy taking on a mystery opponent. So Isaiah, he is accompanied by Mark Quinn and Matt Hardy. So they're waiting on who it is. Who does it turn out to be, Kenny?
Big Texas. Keith Lee.
Limitless Keith Lee. The crowd just goes nuts. They know who this guy is. He's a star. The crowd's already chanting, basking his glory when the match starts. And you guys if you find this, you might see this on a few GIFs on Twitter. But Lee literally threw Cassidy like 10 feet up in the air. Sending him flying across the ring. You could hear Cassidy like scream.
Keith Lee's gonna look so much more monstrous in AEW.
Yeah. This debut was a picture perfect debut, one of the best I've seen in a long time. And I'm not just singing AEW's praises, like legitimately. Like, I've seen a lot of debuts come and go, especially on WWE television. This was a very good debut.
Mm-hmm. The people even received it very well.
Oh yeah. And so here's they did a little kind of Easter egg type thing. So Matt Hardy, after seeing Cassidy just get mauled by Keith Lee, Matt Hardy leaves the ringside area. And I think one of the commentators, I don't know who it was, say he was behaving erratically, which, if you don't know, that was the report about Jeff Hardy when he what led to his firing when he was on a live event and went through the crowd. They said he was behaving erratically. So I guess there was a little jab to that whole situation. But
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
I had to find that out on Twitter. I forget where I found it. I know I should be giving credits, but yeah, that was a fun that was a fun little Easter egg, I guess you could call it. So Mark distracts Lee. Isaiah manages to hit a picture perfect dive onto Lee. Lee hits his jackhammer to win the match. Private Party go to attack him, but so what happens is, I don't know who went first. I believe it was Isaiah Cassidy. They went to go dive on him, but Lee catches him. Lee puts him onto the floor. So then Mark Quinn goes to dive, but Lee catches him too. So Lee power bombs Mark Quinn onto Isaiah Cassidy, onto his back. And then he power bombs Mark Quinn again on the ring apron. So just an absolute monster.
Destruction.
What a debut this was, Kenny. What did you think of just this whole segment in general? Where do you see Keith Lee in the next few weeks on AEW television?
I see him roaming the ranks of likable babyface monster, which is something that WWE has a hard time getting right. And I think AEW is going that route with trying to keep him as a good guy. And just because he's a monster doesn't mean he has to be all backstabby and all edgy. Like, I think he's going to be more of a clean cut good.
He doesn't need to be a bear cat.
Yeah, he doesn't. Whatever the. Jeez, a bear cat. Can someone explain to me what a bear cat is?
I guess we'll never know.
I'm a robot toaster, I guess.
But this was perfect, guys. Please check this out. If you haven't watched Dynamite, check out the Keith Lee debut. You will not be disappointed. He already looks like more of a star than he did in his few months on Monday Night Raw. So, I mean, AEW did it right. They know Keith Lee. They know they're Keith Lee. So let's hope for the best. And we're going to move on here. We got a match build, a little promo package between Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa, who had a match last week on Rampage. There was some shenanigans going on. Britt Baker paid off Mercedes Martinez to take out Thunder Rosa because Rosa is most likely her next challenger for the AEW Women's Championship. So
yeah,
Britt Baker's looking to get the job done on Thunder Rosa before they can have a match. During commercial, we get Sammy's cue cards, I guess you'd call it, in the picture-in-picture break. Sammy says with all the competition, he needs to focus on the Face of the Revolution ladder match, not the Inner Circle. And he just states that he is a fighting champion. So, yeah, he basically just recounts a bit what happened earlier that night. And now he's no longer – he's a solo man, and he's got a lot of competition on his back. So he's going to keep an extra eye open.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we get FTR taking on CM Punk and a mystery tag partner. Now, CM Punk needs this win in order to get a rematch with MJF. Who else but Jon Moxley is the mystery partner, and the crowd's going nuts. This is a great partner choice by Punk, I got to say. MJF and Shawn Spears are backstage watching it on a TV, and they're reacting to this. They're all distraught. that was funny. I like that. But early on in the match, FTR target the leg of Punk. Moxley eventually gets a hot tag, and the crowd starts going electric. He hits a double DDT on FTR. Punk goes for a dive onto FTR, but gets caught. Moxley does a damn dive himself, and everyone falls down. So the playing field's wiped out. During commercial, we see Moxley and Punk take FTR into the crowd a little bit. After commercial break, Punk hits a suplex to Dax on the floor. I think that might have been during commercial break, but I think they showed a replay. I could be wrong on that. But eventually, FTR put Moxley through the ringside table.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Just that table. I don't know what it's used for. I don't see anything on it.
It's always there though, in that same spot. It's just that the table that needs to be broken.
But it's for the moment, man. You can't get rid of it now.
Yeah, it's just the mandatory table. I hope if they make a game that it's just mandatory there.
I know, that'd be sick. So Punk doesn't actually help out Moxley to his feet. And Moxley's just kind of laying there, kind of dead. And Punk's like motivating him to get back up, yelling at him before the 10 KO. But he does. He gets up. He gets back in. FTR hit a second rope leg drop to Moxley. Moxley gets the tag to Punk. Both hit Dax with the Doomsday device. That was cool. That was a cool little moment there.
It took a little long to set up, but it was cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's actually the second Doomsday device we've seen this week, eh?
Yeah.
With the guy who was Grizzled Young Veterans on NXT.
Yeah.
That Doomsday device, man. Shit, rest in peace, both members of the Road Warriors.
Yeah, the Road Warriors.
Road Warriors.
Boys.
Dax hits a brainbuster, and somehow so Punk goes for the roll up. Dax gets him off and Punk runs headfirst to the ring bell. So Dax kind of kicks off Punk, and Cash was waiting out there with a ring bell, and obviously the ref didn't see it because we know how AEW refs are.
They're usually not looking.
No secret there. They're very loose with their officiating. I guess
it's like they don't even read the rule book.
After the ring bell hit, though, Dax hits the brain buster. Punk kicks out. Punk is he's Superman.
He is Super Punk. He runs off Pepsi. Punk.
That's right. The Pepsi plunge that we seen last week. That was cool.
That was freaky. I like it.
Punk gets Dax up for the GTS, but Dax catches the knee, and FTR hit the big rig onto Punk, formerly the Shatter Machine. Mox breaks up the pin. Punk gets Cash into the Anaconda Vice. Tully runs in there when the ref's back, too. He's kind of watching what Dax and Moxley are doing. He hits Punk with his coat and starts slapping him around. Punk's like, well hell with this guy. And hits him with a GTS. So Tully Blanchard gets hit with a GTS.
Poor Tully.
Mox, I know. He's just an old man.
Well, he's just an angry old man. You could have just sat him down and explained Tully now,
tell him
for your cholesterol.
Moxley and Punk win the match with stereo finishers. Backstage, MJF is pissed and he throws his water bottle. He's in a fit. Now Punk is going to get his rematch against MJF. I can't wait. Probably going to be at Revolution because that's just too big of a match to not have on pay-per-view. Kenny, what you think of this tag match? I thought it was excellent.
It was a great build to a great feud, to a great match with everything going super great.
Definitely a
Like,
must-watch this week.
Tag team gold blended beautifully. The styles were very well mixed. No complaints. Nice spots. Like everything ran smooth. A great match. Like it must see, honestly.
Oh, yeah, definitely check that out if you have not yet watched Dynamite. Next up, we get the TBS Women's Championship match. Jade Cargill versus the debuting AQA. Now, AQA is 25. They kind of gave her a little pre-promo package, pre-tape promo package. She's 25 years old. She was trained by Hall of Famer Booker T. This match was actually pretty good. You know, I haven't really been a fan of most of Jade Cargill's matches, but I thought AQA looked great in there. I thought out of all the TBS, title matches I've seen, this by default would probably have to be the best one. If I can think off the top of my head. But I see a lot of upside for AQA and Jade Cargill. I hopefully she can, become better. And I mean, but character-wise, I mean, she's there. She's got the character down pat.
Yeah, she's got all the confidence in the world, and just that radiating off her is almost enough to treat her like a star. She just needs to get her work rate there.
Yeah, and that's going to come with time anyways. I mean, and by the way, she's also 27-0. I forgot to mention that, but she is almost at 30-0. She's got quite the streak in AEW.
She'll reach 30, I'm guessing.
Do you see her reaching 50?
That might be the pillar where they switch things up.
Yeah.
I think
that's why I have to wait and see. I could actually see it, to be honest. She'd have to have a lot more matches, though.
What was Asuka's, or was that just days?
I think they counted that as days. It was, was it like 500 and something days?
Something longer like that. It was over a year.
Yeah, if anyone can remember the exact amount of days they said her streak was, sound off in the comments because I forget. I'm not. There's so much to remember with wrestling, that stuff. All I remember is Charlotte Flair broke the streak, ended it.
Good old Charlotte. I named my dog Charlotte.
Charlotte Arrow.
Charlotte Arrow is all elite.
That's right. Next up, we got the Young Bucks and Adam Cole backstage. Brandon Cutler is filming them. The Young Bucks talk about their upcoming match on Rampage against Roppongi Vice. Adam Cole says if they run into any trouble, that Jay White has their back. The Young Bucks are kind of upset at this, that Cole didn't tell them that White was coming to AEW. And that also mentions that White and Omega got a little bit of history and they were kind of enemies back in the day. Cole says if you can trust him, you can trust Jay White. And he goes over, the whole Bullet Club oath, I guess, that they all took. So we will see that on Rampage. After this, we get the Professor, Serena Deeb, squashing Katie Arquette in a minute match. I like this new character dynamic with Serena Deeb.
I feel like she's going to be possibly Jade's downfall.
Really?
I could see them go that way. If they're going to, it's looking like Thunder's going for Britt.
For the like the women's world, I guess you call it.
Yeah, I would say that's where they would be going that way. And I think Serena, or even Cargill's next big task, I think, could be Serena Deeb.
Yeah, I could definitely see that them coming into. I don't know. I mean, I don't think AEW is shy of doing a heel versus heel dynamic. So
yeah, more like just wrestlers versus wrestlers.
Yeah. But no, I mean, Serena Deeb is kind of like the veteran there. And I kind of like this new, I'm glad that she's actually kind of got a character now in a way. She's not just, wrestler Serena Deeb.
Yeah.
She's the Professor Serena Deeb.
Veteran wrestler, and now she's solidified.
Absolutely. And after this, we get a little preview for Rampage, which we will be reviewing in the very near future. It's actually a Friday, which we're recording on, so we'll have to cram our notes in and hopefully get it out to you guys by Sunday. Roppongi Vice taking on the Young Bucks, and we'll possibly see Jay White on the show. We'll have to wait and see there. We'll hear from Bryan Danielson, most likely going to talk about his interaction with Mox on Dynamite last week, I believe.
Yeah.
Hook takes on QT Marshall's top student and Blake Lee. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if Blake Lee has been on the darker. Like. Yeah, so I guess that's something. I mean, it's going to be a squash match, but
at least we get to see somebody new.
That's right. And the AEW Tag Team title match. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus take on the Ass Boys, Austin and Colton Gunn, with Christian Cage being in Jungle Boys and Luchasaurus's corner, and Billy Gunn being in the Ass Boys corner. That's not their official name, but that's what everyone calls them.
Yeah, that's what they're just going to be known as on this media form of thing. I couldn't spit anything out. That's, I guess, what it is.
That's all right. we understand what you were saying.
We're live, but
sorry, man. We're live, pal.
The show goes on.
The show goes on. So we get a little hype package between the two teams, just everything that's been going on. Jungle Boy getting attacked by the Ass Boys. Christian Cage getting beat up by the Ass Boys. Yeah, this is going to be a retain, but we'll get on to that on Friday. Well, on Sunday, but it's tonight. So
Sunday. Be there.
That's right. You heard it from the man, Kenny Arrow. We are now in the main event. Hangman Adam Page, the AEW World Champion, taking on Lance Archer in a Texas death match. Both of these men start attacking each other in the back before the bell even rings, before the match even starts.
That's right.
For Lance Archer's entrance, he has that little like wooden platform with the glass in the middle. He kind of kicks down.
Yeah.
Well, Lance Archer gets sent through that by Hangman, and when he comes back out, he's just got a crimson mask on. Both of these men got a crimson mask. And
yeah, they're wearing some bloody faces.
It wasn't for the faint of heart. If you don't like blood or anything like that, you might want to skip it, but I wouldn't skip it because this is my match of the week, but we'll get on to that. I'm back on track here. Lance throws Hangman to the outside on the standings. So this is cool. It's got a name to the move that he does. Is it the Archer's Arrow? I could be butchering that completely.
What is it called? The Blackout.
The Blackout. So he hits. I think that sounds right.
Okay.
We should know this.
I wasn't even sure.
It's been a while. I haven't chatted up on Archer's finishes, but my memory's a little rusty. So Lance Archer kind of sets up the steel stairs sideways, like standing up, and he throws Hangman from like outside the ring onto it. And then when Hangman bounces off the steel steps, his face hits the ring post, which looked pretty gruesome.
Yeah, I think his teeth must have been rattling. There's no way that didn't hurt.
He's lost his brains and his bonkers.
He's lost his brains, his bonkers, and his... Oh, what was the other thing I said? I can't even remember.
Check out our SVR 2007 GMO to find out.
And if you do find out, plug it in the comments.
That's right.
My memory, dog shit.
Daniel Lambert eventually comes out, or Dan Lambert comes out, and he takes. I'm being right technical with it. He takes down the top rope to prevent Hangman from using the buckshot lariat. So that's a smart play on his part. Jake Roberts comes out. He gets in on the action when Hangman and Archer are on the outside. He hits his clothesline, and then he goes for the DDT, but Archer stops him, and the crowd hated that. I hated that too. I wanted to see Jake do it, but then again, I don't know if I want to see Jake fall on his back at his age.
Yeah, if Jake could do it helpfully, I would see it.
Yeah, but he's tougher than nail, so I'm sure if they gave him the opportunity to, he would probably say yes.
Oh yeah, he's just a big enough wrestling guy who'd just do it for the vibes.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll get to the closing moments of the match here. Hangman rolls over the referee, so Archer is standing on the apron, and Hangman rolls over referee Rick Knox, hits the buckshot lariat, and there were 2 tables on behind Archer, and they go through one of them. They kind of overshot the first one, but it was still the coolest looking thing, like the buckshot through the table. It was awesome.
It was a very cool way to catapult Hangman into that finishing move.
Oh yeah. Hey, so Archer's down. He's not getting back up. Hangman just barely gets in the ring to his feet to win the match and retain. Hangman Adam Page is still your AEW World Champion. After the match, Adam Cole comes out and looks at the AEW title and hands it over to Adam Page. So we're looking at his next challenger right there. Kenny, what did you think of the whole show in general? And what a main event.
That show was box office. It was a great showing from AEW. They've built, they've shown great wrestling and created more interest all in the same show. It done a lot of building for the future, showing you something new. There's a lot of ways to pull your brain, and that's kind of what I want with my wrestling. I don't want to just be like, well, I can take one good thing from that one. Yeah, I want to be able to say there was a couple good highlights, and in this one, a couple good highlights is an understatement.
I think it had everything for everyone. You know, it had your tag match that was like pretty grounded. It wasn't like, oh, I can't. It wasn't like Canadian Destroyers and
Lucha Bros.
Yeah, like it wasn't like it was a nice classic tag team match and then you had, if you like not death matches, but like hardcore matches, you're gonna love this. I would say this is my match of the week. And what we got looking forward to next week, we got it's the Inner Circle Implodes. Jericho and Hager are taking on Santana and Ortiz, and a no disqualification match between Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. So far, that's all we know that's been announced for next week's Dynamite. But looking forward to it. As always, Dynamite's particularly, like, it's usually a good show. You're not really going to get a raw deal most of the time.
More times than not.
Yeah, and it's not everyone's thing, and I can understand that because I'm sure there's a lot of aspects on the show that might turn off, the traditional fan, I guess you would say.
Yeah, everybody's a different type of fan. Everybody has their own vision of what's good and what's not.
Yeah, exactly. If you like the way the kind of McMahon, like the format of, I just really like, I think AEW, what I like about it the most is just the edge it has on it. Like MJF, like just the verbiage, I guess, that they use, and like the heart when they dabble into the heart. Now, I'm not saying I want to see color every, blood every match, but just that one little aspect and the fact that it's on TBS, like major network, and also let's get to the, forgot to mention this, Dynamite clocked in at 1.1 million viewers this week, which was a step up from the 900K last week.
Ooh, passing that mill plateau.
That was, and that's good to hear because, Dynamite's really been putting in the effort. Pats on the back all around. They deserve it. I thoroughly enjoyed the show. So, Kenny, what do we got coming up now that we're back? Basically back in action here.
We have unlimited amounts of discussions about anything wrestling. We're taking on all comments. We're going to talk about fantasy bookings. We're going to play the game, the new game coming out, WWE 2K22, sponsored by us. Not really.
Plug only us someday.
Yeah, 2K, come get us. Come get her. And we're going to take on guests. If you're a local listener, hit us up.
That's right, we're there. You might not know our real identities, but some listening probably do. They do. Yeah.
There's probably at this point, and a lot of our audience knows who we are.
Yeah, but
join the discussion and stay tuned for more.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. You're gonna want to catch us on. We got a new show kind of debuting. It's after hours. Now we are going to review SmackDown and Rampage. After that, we're going to leave it to you guys. We're going to ask on by the way, follow us on all our social media. We got Twitter, Instagram. Boom. We got a new TikTok.
Boom.
It's now Twitter is Do the Damn Dive, capital D.
Always.
I think a capital T in there.
Oh, there's capital T.
And then, yeah, just capital D's and T's. Now that I'm thinking about it,
DDT.
it's different. It's different because, yeah, that's where I messed up on when I was making the account. Now, TikTok and Instagram are all lowercase. Do the damn dive. Check that out. Links will be in the description below. If you don't want to go out of your way and search it up,
Right
we'll
to
make it
you.
easier for it. That's right. And yeah, so we're gonna ask you guys what questions or what segments do you want from us? You know, it's all inclusive, kind of like Joe Gacy.
You want a face reveal at some point?
Yeah, which might be coming up soon, anyways. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, by next coming days, we'll have some more content posted out there.
That's right.
But so yeah, that basically wraps up. Let us know what you guys thought of Raw, NXT 2.0, and AEW Dynamite. Your favorite match of the week. My favorite match of the week is Hangman versus Lance Archer, Texas Death Match. Kenny, what is your match of the week out of these 3 shows?
I'm gonna have to go with the FTR and Punk and Moxley match.
Very solid choice.
I enjoyed that tag team match very much.
Oh yeah, perfect. It's everything you want in a tag match and then some. Definitely check that out. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for listening. Many more to come. And we are on the road to 50 subscribers. So subscribe if you like what you listen to, like what you see. For now, I've been Jut Nick.
And I've been Kenny Arrow. And keep your arrows flying.
Peace out, guys.